Oh, you're really not going to like this one. You're not going to like it. UK officials begin to receive £50 fines following the probe into Downing Street parties. Sky. That's right. After Preeti Patel came out during the pandemic and acted so hard about trebling the fees for people who've broken the law and increasing the fines, it would appear her party have been issued with £50 fines for the breaches of COVID restrictions that we all know about. Parties, yeah, the cabinet office parties, the quizzes, yeah, breaking the swing, you know, all of that stuff, like stuff on the cabinet table, all that stuff like that. Well, speaking of cocaine on tables and lines of cocaine all over the place, there's another story that came out featuring lines of cocaine and tables, but I'll get to that in a minute. But UK officials begin to receive £50 fines, so that would explain why Prime Minister's Questions was cancelled today, because unless I'm mistaken, you only get fines as a form of punishment. Isn't that a fine a lesser form of punishment than incarceration? A fine is a lesser form of punishment for retribution, yeah, for an offence. So they broke the law. So that's why we haven't had Prime Minister's Questions today, because pretty much first thing I would have asked was who got fined and why they're still working here, because clearly they've broken the law. But we got a war, right? You got David Lammy with his big bald pate standing up and clapping for racist Zelensky in Ukraine. So I don't expect black people to know much about what's going on if they follow behind David Lammy. And now the fines, where we will fine hundreds of thousands of pounds, they're going to be fined 50. At what point do you, and all under the fog of war, £50 fines. London 1st of April, who's the fool? Yeah. British officials have begun to receive fines for COVID-19 regulation breaches, Sky News reported on Friday, days after police said initial 20 fines would be handed out after an investigation into lockdown parties. It's on like King Kong in a string song. Yeah, waving his ding-dong while playing ping-pong, having a sing-song. Right? Sky said the fines related to the June 18th, 2020 leaving party in the Cabinet Office, a building at the heart of government estate and physically connected to Prime Minister Boris Johnson's Downing Street offices and residence. Sky said the first of those fines... residence, yeah. All right. Sky said the first of those fines were £50 fines or $65.54. The officials were not named. Why not? Why not? Those are criminals. They've been fined. You broke the law. You should be named, shamed, and kicked out of Parliament. Clearly, you're not a very responsible MP or official, government official. The event was one of the 12 that police said in January they were investigating based on the evidence passed to them by an internal government inquiry that found Johnson's staff enjoyed alcoholic fuel parties. Remember, there were 12, but there were another 4. There were another 4 that Sue Gray said she wouldn't even talk about. The 4 that the police said, yeah, you could talk about those. Yeah. Sue Gray went, nah. Sue Gray's, the police said, we're only going to investigate these 12. The other 4 you could talk about, and Sue Gray went, nah, I ain't going to talk about those 4. The issue threatened Johnson's position earlier when members of his own party began calling for him to quit and public trust in his leadership plummeted, although the focus on Ukraine has relieved some of the immediate pressure on him. No shit. You mean war can help? No way. No way war can help. So there you go. Labius and germs. Right. Oh, is there a read more? Let's see if there's anything to the read more. UK police to issue first 20 fines over Downing Street lockdown parties. Who? We need to know who they are. If you don't know, find out who these people are. You're being taken for a sucker, but we know we're being taken for a sucker. Police notice Sparks opposition call for PMs to resign. Yeah, PM's resignation. Yeah, of course. PM not in the first 20 fines. Police say more can follow. All right. PM's office says he has apologized for mistakes made. Oh, this is not good. So, like, he's preempting the guilt. Yeah, London, March 29th, Reuters, British police said on the Tuesday the 20th that 20 fines would be issued over gatherings at Boris Johnson's offices and residences that broke coronavirus lockdown rules, sparking fresh opposition calls for Prime Minister to resign. Police are investigating 12 gatherings. Yes, we know that. The police confirmed, yeah, the issue. Yes, I know that. Yes. Recipients of the fines will not be identified, but Downing Street has previously said it will say if the Prime Minister receives one. It's disgusting. Johnson's office said he had not been notified that he was one of the 20 subjects fined. Poll ratings. We will today initially begin to refer 20 fixed penalty notices to be issued for breaches of COVID-19 regulations, the Metropolitan Police said in a statement. Fixed penalty notices are issued to people deemed to have broken COVID-19 rules, as well as for some motoring offences and antisocial behaviour. The penalty for participating in gathering of more than 15 people is an £800 fine. Yeah, but we know that there were more than 15 people gathered. The police statement immediately reignited opposition anger. Boris Johnson's Downing Street has been found guilty of breaking the law, said Angela Rayner, deputy leader of the Labour Party. The culture is set from the very top. The buck stops with the Prime Minister, who spent months lying to the British public, which is why he has to go. 100%. I mean, that's pretty much it. You've been taken for a ride, but let me take you on another ride. Let me take you on. So, first of all, Partygate, £50 fines. Remember when Priti Patel, we will treble the fines. Remember all that, yeah? Right, okay. Well, they got to pay £50. How'd you like that? But some of you voted Tory. That's what you want. Some of you voted for Tory. Some black people voted for Tory. You disgraces. Let me go to from one disgrace. Let's go on to disgrace number 2. 3 disgraces. Let's go on to disgrace number 2. Disgrace number 3 is a doozy. You're going to love it. But disgrace number 2, hold on. Married Tory MP has whip suspended after being caught in secret tape sting, sitting next to lines of cocaine and making unwanted advances to women, as nervous colleague asked whether hostile power is behind the scandal. No, there's no hostile power behind the scandal. MPs are getting caught now. What when they get caught with the children now? Is there going to be a hostile... Look, man, it's disgraceful, disgusting. They're getting caught left, right, and centre. David Warburton, who's a well-known cokehead, right, has been caught exhibiting the traits of a well-known cokehead. David Warburton is being investigated after images, videos, audio recordings, and messages emerged. They implicate him in unwanted advances to women and the use of Class A drugs. One picture shows Mr. Warburton next to what appears to be lines of cocaine. A Tory MP who has been suspended from the party over sex drugs allegations could have been targeted as a part of a sting operation, senior party sources have claimed. No, they're just getting caught. David Warburton, the MP for Somerton and Frome, has been investigated by the Parliamentary Harassment Watchdog after detailed series of images, audio recordings and messages emerged implicating him in unwanted advances to women and the use of Class A drugs. One picture, which was circulating in Westminster messaging groups and has been obtained by the Mail on Sunday, shows Mr. Warburton next to what appears to be lines of cocaine. Okay. And what is the I'm white and I say so excuse for this one? The allegations have emerged after security services warned MPs to be on heightened alert for efforts at entrapment by hostile foreign powers. In Warburton's case, it is understood that a possible link between the release of the material and a foreign communist party is being investigated. Get out! Because the foreign communist party. Yeah, look what the foreign communist party did. Look at that. It's Photoshop. No, it's not Photoshop. Man's using a baking tray to rust. This guy's an expert. Yeah, he don't want none of those particles going. The other thing would have been a mirror, but a mirror is too stereotypical. Man's using a baking tray. He's an expert here. This guy knows what he's doing. Yeah, hostile, my ass, right? The hostile government forces my ass. The allegations have emerged after security forces. Okay, a senior party source said, "We take such allegations extremely seriously, but some aspects of this look like a right old stitch up." My God, that's where we are. But that's where this is white supremacy par excellence. Get caught with a photo of cocaine. That's not cocaine. That's me. No, I have dandruff, and I've been known to scrape my dandruff into lines. I have severe dandruff. And I occasionally, for fun, I will use a credit card to scoop up my dandruff and put them in nice little neat lines. That's it's called I'm White and I Say So. And that's as old as the hills. That's been going on for decades. No one from America invented the term I'm white and I say so. It's as old as racism. I'm getting really fed up of lip smacking Americans. Yeah, I don't care what it could be. Fighting racism could be the manosphere, could be anything. We're the first to do it. Like, you're the first man who realised the fuckery shit was going on. Shut up. The dumbness is incredible. I understand. It's for the dumb people that believe that you were the first person to do something. Yeah, like you were the first person ever to come along and understand. But things are changing. But it's like people in America look down, saw their bottoms, and went, oh, I'm a man. Oh, I'm a man. You know. Oh. Give me a break. And with that, everything else has to take a back seat. Yeah, Will slapping Jada is I haven't commented on it, and I'm not going to comment on it. Do you know what I've got to say about Will slapping Jada? Here's what I've got to say about it. Last night, Mr. Warburton, a member of the European Security Committee, said, I have enormous amounts of defence, but unfortunately the way that things work means that doesn't come out first. So you got defence for being pictured in front of lines of cocaine, but your defence won't come out first. Amazing, incredible. Right, I've heard nothing whatsoever from the Independent Complaints and Grievance Scheme. I'm sorry, I can't comment any further. I bet you can't. I could look at a picture though. I can look at a picture, Mr. Warburton. I can look at a picture, but this is like, you're gonna find this. A lot of people are gonna find this. This is what white supremacy is. Like, you're gonna get caught with the chicken bone, and they go, no, I don't eat chicken. Actually, and what I was doing was researching chicken, and I found this chicken bone, of which I was placing it over there, but the semicircular incision that looks like a bite was not actually from my mouth, but from a dog that I wrestled the chicken bone from in trying to protect the chicken bone. So as you can see, it is not me, but mate, you got grease around your mouth. That happened when I wiped my mouth from holding the chicken bone, you see. That's where we are right now. The allegations about the married father of two who's been a ministerial aid to both educational and international development departments center on a young woman who he is believed to have met months ago. He is said to have invited himself back to her flat, where he asked the woman to order cocaine. An audio recording is said to have captured the MP saying that £160 for 2 grams of the illegal drug represented quite a good deal. 160 grams? What? Shit. So it's like £80 a gram now, is it, in the capital? Damn. Times are, yeah, inflation, right? It used to be about 50 when I was a kid. I heard, right? According to the woman's account, she became increasingly uncomfortable when the pair were alone together. It's called tell the person to leave. And says she went to her bedroom to put on her pajamas to make clear that she wanted him to leave. Lady, I don't believe you. I mean, he's a piece of shit, but I don't believe you, right? She claims that when she emerged, the 56-year-old politician had taken off his clothes and then proceeded to climb into her bed. Right, because you couldn't do anything about that, could you? No, of course not. Speaking to the Sunday Times, the woman alleged that despite making clear that she did not want to have sex with him, he rubbed against her until he fell asleep. Oh yeah, and she just stood there and she just laid there motionless because she couldn't do anything about it. And she was paralyzed with fear. Yeah. Okay, it does look like a little bit of a setup. She has not made a complaint to the police. Well, then shut the fuck up then. Right, so basically what we have is Mr. Cokehead has been caught out. Mr. Cokehead has been caught out. 2 other women, both Commons aides, have claimed that Mr. Warburton pressurised them into drinking more alcohol than they wanted, with one claiming that he grabbed her thigh at the British Kebab Awards. The man's an animal. No decorum. He can't even control himself at the British Kebab Awards, grabbing women's thighs and ting. What is the matter with you, Mr. Warburton? Was your bread not good enough? Yeah, because he sells bread. You know, Warburton's bread is like, I'm not gonna lie, it's the one though. Warburton's bread is the one, better than Hobis. Right. In another alleged incident, the MP is said to have kissed an aide's forehead, stroked her hair, and placed his hand on her thigh. One of the women has produced text in which he said, "Have some cheeky coke, obs." While in another he asked, "Does your dealer do Westminster Bridge area?" Yeah. Coke head, man. Mr. Coke, cocaine head. Mr. Warburton. Last night, Mr. Warburton pictured a member of the European Scrutiny said, "I have enormous amounts of defence, but unfortunately, the way that things work means that doesn't come out first." Shut up, man. Shut up. You got shit, right? The security services have privately warned that an increase in international tensions with countries such as China and Russia could lead to attempts to target MPs who are vulnerable to being compromised. You mean who are pedophiles and junkies? vulnerable to being compromised, the pedophiles and the junkies. That's who we're talking about. Commons Speaker Sir Lindsay Hoy also urged MPs to be on their guard against approaches by what are privately referred to as foreign actors, including people with Russian connections. In February, Ken McCullum, the head of MI5, said that Russia and China were both desperate to gain a foothold in the Commons by targeting MPs and their advisors. Every country is desperate to get into every other country's parliament by getting that's nothing new. They're really taking you for an idiot there if you don't think that England already is influential in other people's parliaments. Come on. He said, it's always been the case that people close to the seat of power will be subject to attempted influence. The assertiveness of some that influencing might be on the rise. The assertiveness of some of that influencing might be on the rise. You mean like England and Nigeria? Like that kind of thing, like training up the SARS police, that type of thing. Okay, just so we know, when the British police trained all the Nigerian police to go back and oppress the people. You mean like that? Yeah, okay, just so that we're clear, just so that I know, all right? He said earlier this year, the agency revealed that an alleged Chinese operative had infiltrated Parliament to interfere in UK politics. MI5 said that Christine Cheng Li established a link for the Chinese Communist Party with current and aspiring. Listen, Christine Cheng was just a lobbyist, the same way that Israeli lobbyists are lobbyists and have disproportional influence in the British government. See like that, yeah? See like that. Only she was a little bit less than that. She's not as bad as the way that the Israelis have influence in the British government and the American government, and she wasn't even directly coming from the Communist Party. She was representing a Chinese business. But you see, when you're trying to move and shake as a lobbyer, right, from China, the English government could turn around any point they want, point at you and go, oh, Chinese spy, right? Because we're that stupid at the moment. He then gave a donation to politicians with funding coming from foreign nationals in China and Hong Kong. Yeah, foreign nationals, not the government. Do you see how, even they're telling you it wasn't government, but they're trying to infer that it was government. Mr. Warburton was also facing a probe into his financial affairs last night after it was reported that he borrowed $100,000 from Russian businessman Roman Jokovsky without declaring it. Holy, this guy's dirty. He's dirty. Then they go on to ask, was MP victim of hostile power? No, he wasn't. Look, give me a break. Look at the hostile power. Can you see the hostile power influence? Look at the hostile power. Everyone can see how Russia and China maneuvered him into using his baking tray. Obviously with his little tipple there. What was that? I don't know. That's a little light. I don't know. That's going to be a spirit, isn't it? It's going to be a spirit like that. But look at that. Look, bang to rights, man. Shut up. So, let's get to the last one. Last but not least. So first of all, remember, I think we're going to see riots this year. UK police issue first 20 fines over Downing Street lockdown parties under the cover of war. They fined the Tories that were having parties under the cover of war, right? David Warburton, right? They're taking the whip away from him for cocaine use and abusing the women them. But last but not least, under the cover of war, while everyone's like car-carring about Ukraine, guess what the UK released? Oh, the UK released figures on COVID infections. And guess what? Deaths fall among unvaccinated but rise among fully vaccinated, with triple jab now accounting for 8 in every 10 COVID-19 deaths in England. You what, mate? You what? Oh, but you lot knew so. You knew so much. You all knew so much. You knew so much. Yeah. You government figures and government scientists, and then there's you. Yeah, there's you with your internet research. But you guys knew so much. Yeah. Good for your bomber claw asses. Good. I hope you double and triple vaccinated idiots see this. Let's have a look. With the mainstream media now focused entirely on instilling fear among the general public with non-stop coverage on the conflict in Ukraine, you may have missed the latest data published by the UK Health Security Agency, which shows yet again that COVID-19 deaths have increased among the vaccinated population whilst declining among the unvaccinated population in England. Whoa, no way, Jose. In all, The vaccinated population now account for 9 in every 10 COVID-19 deaths in England. But what's most concerning about this statistic is that the triple vaccinated population make up 76% of those deaths. Wow. Percentages of COVID-19 cases. These are hospitalizations, deaths by vaccination. Hospitalizations and deaths by... So this is a combined hospitalizations and deaths. So as you can see over the deaths, right? Normal cases, right? Not vaccinated, right? Roughly about 22% of the cases that are coming in now are people who are not vaccinated. The majority are people who are vaccinated. Yeah? The majority, 78% of the people who are coming in are vaccinated. Right? Hospitalizations, about 78% who are coming in being hospitalized are vaccinated. Right? And deaths, about 90% of the people dying are vaccinated. 90% of the people dying from COVID between the 31st of January and the 27th of February are vaccinated. In the past week, we've seen Visa and MasterCard suspend operations in Russia, highlighting how crucial it is to use our cash in... No. Sorry. But whilst you've been busy being fed propaganda and lies by the mainstream media, such as footage of a Palestinian confronting soldiers from years ago, you were told it was a brave Ukrainian woman. Yeah, that was the picture of a woman standing in front of a tank. But it was actually a Palestinian woman standing in front of an Israeli tank. They've done that already, right? And what was the other one? Archived footage of military parades presented as Russian warplanes flying ferociously over Ukraine. I've seen that already, like from the military parades. I think the May Day parades, and they had that, like, look at the Russians flying over Ukraine. Like, this is tail wags the dog, man. Tail wags the dog, right? You will no doubt have missed the latest COVID-19 data that has been published in England, and we can guarantee that the UK government will be extremely pleased that you have. Why would that be? Well, the UK Health Security Agency, UK HSA, published a weekly COVID-19 vaccine surveillance report. The most recent was published on Thursday, the 3rd of March 2022, and can be viewed here. The report contains data on COVID-19 cases, hospitalizations, and death by vaccination cases status in England between the 31st of January and the 27th of February. And it does absolutely no favours for Pfizer and the claimed efficacy of its COVID-19 injection. Table 10 of the report shows the number of COVID-19 cases by vaccination in England, and it confirms the vast majority were recorded among the triple vaccinated population by a country mile. Number of COVID-19 cases by vaccination status. So these are the number of people coming in and being diagnosed as having COVID between the 31st of January and the 27th of February. These are people that have come in, tested, oh, you got COVID. 244,313 people unvaccinated have tested for COVID, right? So not vaccinated, 244,313 people tested positive, but they weren't vaccinated. Then of the people that came in for COVID, testing positive, 67,699 of them had already had one dose. 67,699 people who came in had already had one dose. But it gets worse than that. 162,998 people who are found to have had COVID had 2 vaccinations. Let's go to 615,949 people who have tested positive for COVID have had 3 doses, have had 3 vaccines. Which means in a grand total, 846,616 people who've tested positive for COVID are vaccinated. A majority of the people who have tested positive for COVID were vaccinated. But you knew so much. You knew so much, didn't you? You knew so much. The Lord is good, you know. God is good. Number of COVID-19 hospitalizations by vaccination status. So these people that came in had to be hospitalized because they had COVID, right? Of the people that came in that hospitalized, 1,832 of them weren't vaccinated. So of all the people that came in, 1,832 of them, they weren't vaccinated. But 363 of them that came in they had one vaccine. But they still had to be hospitalized for COVID, but they'd already had a vaccine. 1,178 people had to be hospitalized for COVID. They'd had 2 vaccines. 4,558 people had to be hospitalized for COVID, and they'd had 3 vaccines. All in all, the number of people hospitalized over COVID who'd had a vaccine stands at 6,099. The non-vaccinated people is only 1,832. But you knew so much. I got mine. You got yours. Yeah, you got yours, all right. You're getting yours. You're about to get yours, right? So those are the emergency cases. Could it be that the NHS and the UK HSA are fudging the figures to show that JCVI has outrageously recommended 5 to 11-year-olds are offered the COVID-19 vaccine? Are we seeing mass testing of children already hospitalized with injuries such as broken bones to give the impression that COVID-19 vaccinations would benefit children? Hold on, let's go back. I've skipped something. Between the 31st of January and the 27th of February 2022, there were a total of 7,931 confirmed cases of COVID-19 hospitalizations in England, and the triple vaccinated accounted for 4,558 of them, whilst the not vaccinated population accounted for just 1,832 hospitalizations. But even then, 812 of those were among children. However, this does not make any sense when we look at the historical data. Children have never been at high risk suffering severe disease due to COVID, and we know for a fact Omicron is much less severe than the alleged Delta variant. So why are hospitalizations among children now double what they were at the height of Delta? Because the children have had the vaccine! Could it be that the NHS and the UKSA are fudging the figures now that the JCVI has outrageously recommended all 5 to 11-year-olds are offered the COVID-19? Are we seeing mass testing of children already hospitalized with injuries such as broken bones to give the impression that experimental COVID-19 vaccines could benefit children? When we include children in the hospitalization figures, we find that the vaccinated population account for 77% of all COVID-19 hospitalizations between the 31st and 27th of February 2022. 4 in every 5 which were triple vaccinated. But when we remove children, we find that the vaccinated population account for 86% of all COVID-19 hospitalizations among the over 18s. So basically, what they're trying to say is the increase in children with COVID goes directly with the vaccination of those children. The increase of kids with COVID runs congruent with the vaccination of the children. Here we have table 12. The report shows the number of COVID deaths by vaccination, and yet again confirms the vast majority were recorded among the triple vaccinated population, this time by extremely concerning amount. These are the people that died, not hospitalized, died between the 31st of January and the 27th of February 2022. Within that month, 1,020 people were not vaccinated. 1,020 people tested, they had COVID, they weren't vaccinated, they died. 269 people died. They were tested, they'd had 1 dose of the vaccine. It's quite a low number. That's lower than the unvaccinated. But when you get to the double vaccinated people, 1,149 of them have died. They had a double vaccine and they died of COVID. When we get to the triple vaccinated, 4,556 people between the 31st of January and the 27th of February have died of COVID, and they were triple vaccinated. They went in, they got sick, they died, and they were triple vaccinated. That's higher 4 times than the not vaccinated. And when we account all of the vaccinated people that have died due to COVID complications, that's 5,974 people who have been vaccinated and died of COVID. But you knew so much. You all knew so much. Wankers. You know what? Your arrogance, you will pay for your arrogance with death. There's the death. You're paying for your arrogance with death. Number of COVID-19 deaths by vaccination status. Number of COVID-19 hospitalizations. Sorry, this was the hospitalizations. That's the hospitalizations. This one's the death. sorry. So this is the hospitalizations. Let me recap this. Hold on. These are the hospitalizations. People who went in hospitalized with COVID. 1,000 people who weren't vaccinated. 269 looks like it's working. 1,149 not working. 4,556 went into hospital, although they were triple vaccinated. And all in all, 5,974 people in a month went into hospital. They were vaccinated. Let's go down to deaths. Here's the biggie. Within the month, 31st of January to 27th, these are the amount of people who died within the month. 397 people who weren't vaccinated died. They went in, you had COVID, you died. 397 of them, and they weren't vaccinated. 113 who died had one dose. So it looks like the one dose works. I'm not being funny, but that's less than the unvaccinated. So it looks like the one dose works. But then we go to the double dose. Wonk. 725 people who were double dosed died of COVID. And then we go to the triple vaccinated. 2,704 people were triple vaccinated, died of COVID. Against the 397 who weren't vaccinated. 2,704. And then all in all, the people who were vaccinated, 3,542 died within that month. You'd either had 1, 2, or 3. That's 10 times more than the not vaccinated. The deaths of the vaccinated against the unvaccinated is 10 times. Overall, the vaccinated population account for 90% of all COVID deaths during these 4 weeks, with 3,542 recorded deaths. This means that the vaccinated population now account for 9 in every 10 deaths, with the triple vaccinated population account for 4 in every 5 of them. But what's most concerning here is the fact that things appear to be getting worse by the week for the fully vaccinated population and improving for the unvaccinated population, despite the fact that injections allegedly have up to 95% efficacy against hospitalization and death. The fact Omicron is now the dominant variant and it supposedly causes disease that is no worse than the common cold. So it's getting worse, and the ones that we got at the moment is not as bad as the one that we had, and the numbers are still getting worse. Then we got another table, the deaths by vaccination. I showed you the chart of that one. So here we go. The total number of alleged COVID-19 deaths by vaccination status between November the 1st and November the 20th, 2021 is confirmed by the table 5 of the UK HSA report, were as follows. Listen. Not vaccinated population, 695 deaths. Partially vaccinated, 96. Fully vaccinated, 2,750. The bomber clot. Wow. At this point, the UK HSA did not include a separate column for the triple vaccinated and instead grouped them with the double vaccinated. I'll bet you didn't. Shit. So it's troubling to find that during November, when Delta, a more severe variant, was dominant, the number of COVID-19 deaths among the triple and double vaccinated was only 46 more than the number of COVID-19 deaths seen across the triple vaccinated between the 31st and the 27th of February. So the numbers are still high in deaths, even though we're at the less infectious disease rate. The numbers are still high. The numbers are nearly as high as the hardcore one that we had. That's what it's saying to you. But if we group the most recent data on the double and triple jab together, we find that there were 679 deaths between the 31st of January and the 27th of February 2022. Then in November 2021, representing a 25% increase in the deaths. So the deaths have increased by 25%, even though the variants that we got running around are weaker. But you knew so much. Glory, glory, hallelujah. The Lord is good. God is good. Right? Whereas deaths among unvaccinated in the most recent data have fallen to 397 from the 695 recorded in November, representing a 43% reduction in deaths. Deaths among the unvaccinated in the most recent data have fallen to 395 from the 695 recorded in November, representing a 43% reduction in deaths. A 43% reduction in deaths for the unvaccinated, whereas the triple jabbed, there's an increase. Holy shit. Are you happy? Are these the kind of numbers we would expect to see when Omicron is much less severe than Delta and the vaccinated population are supposed to have had up to 3 doses of protection with an alleged 95% effectiveness against hospitalization and death? Is it? We certainly don't think so. But there you have it. Whilst you've been busy being fed propaganda, yeah, and lies by the mainstream media, the UK government published data confirming 90% of all COVID-19 deaths across England are among the fully vaccinated population, and the triple vaccinated make up 4 in every 5 of them. But you knew so much to last. Well, there you go. You will pay for your ignorance. Yeah, with a currency I don't even want to talk about. There you go. There's your dirty three for today, man. Yeah. MPs get fined £50. That's it. £50 for breaking the law, having sex games on the swing till they break the child's swing. Yeah, doing cocaine, getting screwed over the coffee tables, getting screwed over the photocopy machines. All that stuff going on in number 10. Yeah, with the party. But no, £50 fines. Yeah, because you guys are the plebs. You guys are the simpletons. Several £1,000 fine for you. £50 fine for them because you are the subjects, right? And look, Mr. Warburton, yeah, it's a foreign government conspiracy. It's a foreign government conspiracy to get him. It wasn't him, right? Now, is this what they're going to say when we to get a photo of some MP hanging out the back of a child, right? Is this what they're going to? Oh, it's a foreign intelligence operation. What do they say? Look at that, mate. You're bang to rights. Shut the fuck up. You're bang to rights. And anyone else who says it might be a foreign conspiracy, like this newspaper, who's entertaining it. Oh, the Mail Online. Oh, no. Well, there you go. Yeah, the Mail Online. Of course, they're going to do their best to protect their friends, right? If is your friend, not mine. There you go. It's your friend. David Warburton, cokehead and very handsy with the ladies. And but the woman who said, "I went to get into my pajamas and he would not leave the room." I bet you she's Eastern European. How much you want to bet? I said Eastern European. I'm not being racist. It could be Romania, Bulgaria, Poland. Yeah, it could be Russia. Yeah, it's somewhere from the Far East. I bet you my. Never mind. I'll bet you my next video. Right? So anyway, bang to rights, caught taking the cocaine. And last but not least, mate, deaths fall among unvaccinated but rise among fully vaccinated, with triple jab now accounting for 8 in every 10 COVID-19 deaths in England. To Bumba Clark. And that's it. I gotta go. My phone call. Hello?
I am the king and will not be. I am the king and will not.